Did you know? Imagine holding in your hand a coin so rare that its value is measured not in pocket change but in millions. A humble 1-cent 1978 D coin from the United States, so unique that it commands an unheard of face value to collector price ratio linked to a mysterious $38 million evaluation. A story of minting error, scarcity, greed, and history converging into a single copper disc. Today I'm going to tell you everything known and speculated about this mythical 1978 D cent, how such a small object could evoke such vast sums, why collectors obsess, and how this coin came to represent big money in history as if its face value were multiplied by the legends surrounding it. So stay with me, subscribe for more mind-blowing numismatic tales. First, the date, 1978, with a D mint mark indicating Denver, a year in which the U.S. Mint struck tens of millions of cents, making a standard 1978 D cent neither rare nor particularly valuable, yet somehow within the numismatic community whispers circulate of a variant, an error, or perhaps an alternate reality specimen, which purportedly elevates one particular piece to astronomical value. It is said, though documentation is murky and often contradictory, that a single specimen bearing some kind of minting anomaly or alteration survived, maybe a misprint, double die, striking issue or off-center that was either destroyed, lost, or kept secret, and rumor has inflated its worth to nearly $38 million, a value far beyond any similar coin of its era. Collectors have speculated various scenarios. Perhaps the coin was struck on a wrong planchet, maybe a foreign metal mix, maybe a proof struck under experimental conditions, maybe even a mint error so dramatic that the coin was never officially acknowledged. Perhaps someone discovered a specimen among hoarded coins that exhibited an extreme striking error complete with misalignment, off-center strike, some dramatic rim error, or maybe missing design elements or doubled lettering, such that its rarity became absolute because it was not circulated. Perhaps only one or two ever made, and perhaps one of them was acquired by a private collector who, to avoid attention or controversy, kept it secret, feeding the speculation. Antique dealers, numismatic experts, auction houses have debated whether the $38 million figure is credible. Some argue that millionaires in numismatics, collectors with deep pockets and rival desire for bragging rights, might bid insane sums for something like this. Especially rumors alone can create value. But actual sales records do not clearly confirm a public sale at $38 million for a 1978 D cent. In fact, most 1978 D cents, even rare variants, trade for modest sums depending on condition, whether mint state, with wear, or perfect uncirculated grade, perhaps a few $100s to a few thousand, but nothing approaching tens of millions. Yet the legend persists. Stories suggest that in some private sale or agreement, this coin was valued at $38 million based on appraisal, rarity, and presumed buyer competition, or perhaps as a hypothetical highest bid, or insurer's valuation. Should the coin be publicly disclosed, the idea that face value of 1 cent could correspond to such an amount is sensational, reminding us of rarities like the 1794 flowing hair dollar or the 1933 double eagle, yet even those have documented high-end sales, whereas the 1978 D cents claim comes more from myth, collector lore, and rumor mills than from solid registrar-verified transactions. In exploring this, experts look for provenance. Did this coin ever appear in any mint records, any photography, any numismatic journal, any major auction catalog, any insurance listing, any ledger verifying that one specimen indeed carried some error or condition so special it could be considered unique beyond all others? So far, no publicly solid documentation has arisen that an authenticated example sold for or is definitively worth $38 million, and certainly no one has delivered the coin to a recognized auction house with clear grading at that price. Yet that doesn't stop belief. For some, believing in rarer and more valuable items is part of the collector's game, part of the lore that turns copper into gold in imagination. The story sometimes references an alleged missing pair, perhaps one coin held in private, another locked away in mint archives or governmental collection. Maybe someone paid a non-disclosure fee to hide the coin's existence, thereby restricting its visibility, thus feeding value by scarcity. The valuation number $38 million may derive not from any sale but from insurance or hypothetical replacement cost, from a collector's insurance schedule, or from appraisals based on comparisons with other record-setting coins, scaling by perceived uniqueness and desirability. As with many such numismatic legends, parts of the story vary. Some say the coin has an off-center strike so extreme it misses almost half the design. Some say it has a mint mark of incorrect size or misplaced lettering. Others that it shows die doubling so severe the date and mint mark appear ghosted. others that it was struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or foreign coin. Despite that, the mainstream numismatic registries, grading services like PCGS, NGC, and auction records show no verified 1978 D-cent sale approaching anywhere near millions. Condition standards, market demand, collector interest for modern cents remain modest. Modern cents from the 1970s generally suffer from copper corrosion, wear, circulation damage, few in perfect mint condition exist, and those command more modest premiums rather than extraordinary millions. So what does $38 million represent? It may represent what someone would pay privately under extreme secrecy, what someone imagines as possible, what sensational media or collector forums repeat, not what is confirmed. But that doesn't eliminate its impact. The myth boosts interest in 1978 cents, in error coins, in mint mark anomalies. It makes people check their change, scrutinize their coins under magnifiers, hoping to spot something extraordinary. It has become part of numismatic culture, a legend like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster, except this one people might actually hold in their hand. We can compare with other coins that did sell for millions: rare early U.S. coins, colonial pieces, double eagles, rare cent errors like the 1943 bronze cents, or 1793 chain cents with extreme rarity and documented sale history. Those provide a baseline, showing that rare cents can reach very high prices, but only when authenticated, well preserved, with documented provenance and collector interest. Without that, the 1978 D coin remains speculative. Let's walk through what determines coin value: condition, grade, rarity, how many exist, aesthetic appeal, eye appeal, novelty or error type, historical significance, supply, collector demand, market trends. In the case of the 1978 D cent, almost all of those factors are uncertain or based on rumor. Perhaps error type is claimed but never shown. Rarity is claimed to be one or only a handful but no verification. Condition unknown, provenance obscure, thus professional appraisers and grading services remain skeptical and conservative. But imagine if one such specimen were discovered, authenticated, graded MS68 or higher, with documented unusual error or die misstriking, then the competition among top collectors, museums, private investors could push value to millions or tens of millions, especially if it truly is unique. The myth of $38 million comes from projecting that scenario. The idea of face value 1 cent being dwarfed by a $38 million price tag captures public imagination precisely because it's so disproportionate. Common objects made rare by chance, error, survival, human desire. It also reflects how market psychology works: scarcity plus desirability plus story equals value far beyond intrinsic material value, copper content, metal cost, weight, all irrelevant next to rarity and collector demand. And history is full of coins whose folklore inflated their myth, sometimes exceeding reality, yet sometimes proven when a specimen emerges from obscurity to public auction, shocking everyone with realized price. Meanwhile, the 1978 D legend remains unreconciled with solid evidence. Discussion in coin forums, numismatic associations, YouTube channels etc. often treat it with a mix of excitement and skepticism. Some say the story was concocted by someone trying to sell low-grade coins for high prices, others that it's simply an urban legend. Yet regardless of truth, the myth has value. It inspires research, collecting, awareness of coin errors, minting history, how even modern coins might hide secrets. For you, if you find a 1978 D cent in good condition, your chance of it being this mythical error coin is extremely small, but you might still get some premium if you can show unusual characteristics, seek grading, prepare documentation, take care of provenance, show photographs, compare with known error examples. Realistically, even very fine specimens of 1978 D cents are worth at most a few hundred or few $1,000s depending on grade. To reach the legendary $38 million, nearly every criterion must be met: uniqueness, documented provenance, museum or private buyer competition, perfect or near-perfect condition, error rarity etc. So until such a specimen is conclusively shown and sold publicly, the 1978 D coin remains a legend, a myth of numismatics, an example of how even common items can be cast into legendary value by rumor, hope, speculation, collector desire. But legends can become real, so always keep your eyes open, coins clean, drawer lids open, and if you ever handle a 1978 D with suspicious features, have it checked. Maybe you hold the myth in your palm. Next. Imagine holding in your hand a single ordinary coin, so unassuming that most would toss it aside without a second glance, but this coin isn't ordinary. This is a 1967 1-cent USA coin of which just a handful exist with such a flaw that its true value skyrocketed far beyond its face value, reputed in some circles to reach as much as $21 million, a staggering figure that sends chills down the spine of any collector or history lover. This is the story of rare scarcity, mint error, historical confluence, the allure of numismatics, and how a tiny piece of copper became the stuff of legends. From the moment it was struck at the United States Mint, this coin was destined to be forgotten among millions, an everyday penny, a workhorse of commerce, a transient presence in pockets, cash registers, and piles of change. Yet somewhere in those vast mints, under the precise but fallible machinery, a misfeed or die defect, an off-center strike or clip planchet, or perhaps even an omitted step in the annealing or striking process created a coin so anomalous that very few, perhaps only one or two, survived with this error intact, making it one of the rarest error pennies imaginable. Many collectors speculate that this coin was never officially released into circulation but instead made its way out through mistakes, perhaps handed off after mint inspections as reject material that was never destroyed, or passed on by a mint employee unaware of its looming value, or by someone who thought it just looked odd. Over decades this one coin, or maybe two, became a whispered legend among numismatists, passed around in catalogs, mentioned in corners of collector forums, or perhaps imbued with legend in auction houses where descriptions grow more dramatic with each retelling. One of a kind, never before seen, 50 times scarcer than the 1943 bronze penny, worth more than a Picasso painting, a piece of history. The idea that a 1-cent coin, that is, a penny whose face value is just 1 cent, could be worth millions seems preposterous until you begin to understand what scarcity, condition, provenance, and demand can do. If that 1967 error penny is graded as perfect or near perfect by professional coin grading services, uncleaned, unaltered, with original luster, no scratches, no corrosion, with clear details, sharp rims, sharp relief, and the metal composition pure and unchanged, the few people who understand the field will pay whatever is needed to own it, to hold it, to add it to their cabinet alongside the famous 1933 Double Eagle, the 1794 Flow ING hair dollar, or the unique 1913 Liberty Head nickel. But how did the market even come to assign a value, $21 million? Some of the value comes from speculative auctions, inflated estimates, media sensationalism, sometimes even misreports or typographical errors in price guides, but mostly from bidding wars, private sales rumored but unverified, insurance appraisals, or leveraged through the mythos itself, a coin so rare that one cannot even be sure of its exact existence among public hands, making it practically priceless. One of the secrets in coin collecting is that rarity alone is not enough. The coin must have desirability, provenance, condition, verified examples, and a body of collectors who want it badly. This 1967 penny, with its alleged export into private hands, becomes a piece of intrigue. Stories circulate. Someone inherited a mint reject coin which they believed to be worthless until a coin expert saw it. Someone discovered one in a jar of change, thought it was a misprinted dime, tossed it in a drawer. Someone in the mint allegedly pulled it aside, unsure what to do, and it slipped through the cracks. And as word of these leaks spreads, the value compounds exponentially. Early estimates put it at a few $100,000, then $1 million, then several million, each assessment adding to its mystique. Auction houses begin to whisper about it, press releases mention it in passing under hot coins you should know about, collectors trade rumors over coffee, at coin shows, on online forums. Some believe the $21 million figure is real, others believe someone somewhere just wanted attention. Yet the coin is never found in pristine form, or if it is always under non-disclosure, or remains in private collections where no photos or certificates are shared with the public. As with many legendary artifacts, half the value is in what could be, what might be, what legends insist are true even if documentation is thin. And over decades the story accumulates with layers of embellishment. Perhaps the coin was once owned by a famous collector who hoarded all the rare pennies, someone like Louis Eliasberg, or someone linked to a mint director. Perhaps its existence was verified once by a major auction house, but the record was redacted, or lost. Some even claim that it was insured for $21 million, making that the only public record of its value, but that leads to more questions. Who insured it, under what conditions, for what purpose, and what evidence was presented to support that insured value? Insurance appraisals require some baseline, they require comparables, they require market presence, but in a case where a coin is supposedly unique, comparables are speculative. What did the buyer or insurer use to justify 21 million? Did they compare to other legendary coins? Did they adjust for inflation, collector passion, age, physical condition? Maybe they did, and maybe the figures are wildly optimistic. But even so, among serious collectors there is respect for the possibility. Rare error 1967 pennies are documented in lesser error categories: mistruck pennies, off-center, clip planchie, missing mint mark, double die features are known. The rarity among those is high, and collecting trends in recent years have seen record-breaking sales, especially for coins in perfect mint state. Digital photography, coin grading services, global auctions, the internet all have magnified awareness and created a market where someone is willing to pay unimaginable sums for something so small and seemingly insignificant. That said, many coin experts warn, take $21 million with skepticism. Many times such sums are projected or misquoted or based on hypothetical future value should this coin ever surface under ideal conditions. It could be that no one has officially authenticated such a coin under strict numismatic standards at that value, and if one did, the cost of executing that sale, authentication, transportation, insurance, auction fees, could eat into the headline number significantly. Still, the idea persists because of our fascination with rarity and rarity's power over value. Think of the excitement people feel when seeing the $1,794, the 1804 silver dollar, the assemblages of ancient coins. The 1967 penny becomes a modern mythic fossil, proof that even everyday artifacts can become treasures. And there are economics at play. Inflation makes the future value of rare collectible coins potentially even higher, as money becomes less stable in fiat systems, as collectors from more countries and cultures accumulate wealth, demand for American rare coins grows globally. As numismatic scholarship improves, more coins once thought common are reclassified as rarities. For example, a mistrike variety that once was ignored becomes sought after once someone publishes a photographic essay, someone declares a coin to have been made by a die that cracked early, or someone reveals archival mint records showing a small batch had missing mint mark or an experimental alloy. In such cases, coins go from baseline value to 6, 7, 8-figure status. The 1967 penny's legend may stem from such a reclassification, or even a misunderstanding. It might be that a wrongly labeled coin sold for a few $100,000, people misheard hundred as million, or million as tens of millions, then the rumor metastasized. Or it may be someone put up an estimate for insurance or estate tax, inflated for safety. Maybe someone wanted spotlight. Yet even if the $21 million is not yet realized in a public sale, many believe that a properly authenticated and perfect specimen, if ever to be offered, could command such a sum, and if someone somewhere owns it, maybe they won't ever sell, preserving the myth. Meanwhile, the face value remains 1 cent. That contrast, 1 cent versus millions, is what captures imaginations, a symbol of what human attention, rarity, story, condition, and prestige can do. The coin serves as a reminder that value is not inherent but assigned, that tiny fluctuations in physical attributes, historical documentation, condition, provenance, rarity, market sentiment can turn something almost worthless into something priceless. It teaches humility, that everyday objects, the coins in your pocket, the pennies on the sidewalk, may hide secrets, may be worth more than you think, may be the next great legend. And for collectors, it underscores a lesson in cautious optimism: guard what you find, document, preserve, seek expert authentication, maintain condition, understand provenance, don't fall for hype but don't dismiss the possibility either. So whether the 1967 1-cent coin truly will ever sell for 21 million or whether the figure remains an urban legend among coin collectors, it already achieved what many coins never do: it captured the world's attention, transcended its humble metal and government-issued origins and became a symbol of wonder, imagination, rarity, the incredible extremes of value that human societies place on objects. If you're into coins, if you love history, if you believe in the unbelievable, keep your eyes open, check those old jars, boxes, drawers, because you never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Like, subscribe. Last. Did you ever imagine holding in your hands a mere 1-cent piece minted in 1986, yet being told it could be worth a staggering $12 million, a piece so laden with mystery and intrigue that collectors across America and around the world whisper of it in hushed tones, a coin that has transcended its humble value to become a legend. This is more than just numismatics, more than pennies and metal. It's about obsession, fortune, and history colliding in a way that turns heads, creates viral sensations, ignites auctions, and sends hearts racing. And once you hear this story, you'll understand why it's become the talk of every forum, the jewel of every collector, the claim to fame of every curator. Because in 1986 the U.S. Mint struck what seems like an ordinary cent, the standard zinc center with the copper plating, Philadelphia and Denver presses working hard to meet demand for everyday commerce, and yet somewhere among the billions produced there are rumors, myths, perhaps truths, of specimens so uniquely flawed, so rare, that their fate has diverged from cash registers and piggy banks. It's said that one of these rare coins, a particular off-metal striking, or a severe die collision, or perhaps an error so subtle yet so pronounced that it defies easy categorization, has surfaced, hidden for decades, tucked away in a collection, misidentified, unappreciated, until some eagle-eyed collector dusted it off and realized what they had. They researched, they verified, they consulted experts in metallurgy, numismatic history, auction houses, universities, curators, and what emerged was jaw-dropping. Some believe this coin's true monetary face value is practically nothing, it's 1 cent, but its collector's value is being claimed at $12 million, because scarcity, demand, provenance, condition, error, all combine to make its worth transcend ordinary definition. Imagine the chain of ownership, first in a pocket, next in a coin roll, maybe lost, maybe mixed, maybe sold at a yard sale for 5 cents, then rediscovered, authenticated, graded, submitted to auction, maybe Sotheby's, maybe Heritage, maybe Stack's Bowers, bids fly, journalists swarm, collectors sweat, bids escalate into millions, stories of phone auctions, online auctions, bidding wars, private deals, secret payments, confidentiality, maybe a faceless buyer from abroad who wants it for prestige, for investment, for the glory of owning something no one else can claim. But how credible are these reports, you might ask? Because surely when someone claims a 1-cent coin is worth $12 million, alarms should go off. Every numismatic publication should have picked up on it, every coin catalog should list it, every collector should clutch their current 1986 cent and compare, examine, hope. Yet the more you dig, the more stories diverge. Some say it's a unique error strike, some say a restatement that it's merely rumor, some call it a hoax, some call it marketing, some call it wishful thinking. But history teaches that coins once dismissed have turned out to be worth fortunes. A 1913 Liberty nickel, 10 Buffalo nickels, rare double eagles, counterfeit stories, forgeries, restorations, scandals, controversies, all proving that value is not what is stamped on metal but what is believed by people, by markets. In the case of this 1986 penny, the arguments for high value rest on things like extreme mint error, perhaps a planchet of a different alloy, perhaps a misaligned die making part of another coin imprint, perhaps something so small that many grading services reject it, but those who accept it certify it at such high grade and uniqueness that it becomes priceless in collector eyes. Then there's communication, forensic metallurgical tests, X-ray fluorescence to discover unexpected metals, historical mint records showing production anomalies in 1986, maybe miscounts, maybe scrap material used, maybe experimental blanks, maybe error planchets intended for different denominations, or off-center strikes large enough to reveal lamination or edge clips so rare that no other specimen exists. And once the coin emerges, suddenly coins of similar type, mint, year, condition get re-evaluated, prices escalate, even ordinary examples rise in value because of the rumor, the hype, the bubble potential, the FOMO among investors and collectors, and the story becomes a trending topic. Coin forums filled with images, comparison pictures, macro shots, lighting to show texture, color, flaw, die crack, edge, pressure, grading labels, certificates, YouTube videos, TikTok clips, Instagram reels, people posting, found in pocket change, is this real? Just sent mine for grading, watch me unbox, reaction when I saw under microscope, comments explode, share count soar, subscription numbers jump. The coin becomes a legend like the 1933 double eagle, the 1794 flowing hair dollar, the brasher doubloon, except here it's humble, everyday, unassuming, and that contrast is what makes it viral, what makes people want in. Investors whisper about holding digital provenance records, high-resolution photographs, third-party grading, tidy display cases. Museums might express interest, insurance companies might appraise, legal documents might certify chain of custody. Skeptics raise doubts, absence of auction records, lack of indisputable proof, possibility of fabrication. exaggeration, marketing stunts designed to inflate prices, even fake grading. Certificates, manipulated lighting, Photoshop, rumors planted in social media to drive up value. Still, despite the noise, the fascination persists, because humans love rarity, love stories, love believing that something ordinary could secretly be extraordinary, especially when it costs just 1 cent yet might bring in millions. So people scour their pocket change, their old jars of coins from childhood, thrift store finds, garage sales, long-forgotten drawers and attics, hoping for that one miraculous coin, that 1 cent 1986 piece worth 12 million. And as each day goes by, more videos, more posts, more articles asking, is it real? Has anyone seen it? Is there photographic proof? Auction records, more experts weigh in, more labs are contacted, more evidence collected or dismissed. Perhaps someday someone will present the definitive specimen, graded flawlessly, unambiguously showing the rare error, with paperwork, with provenance back to the mint or close thereafter, and then the world will know. Until then the story spins, viral and alive, tempting every collector, every dreamer, every person who holds a penny and wonders if it might be the key to a fortune. And you, yes you, when you hear this, might check your change, your old boxes, your grandparents' coin collection. Imagine the possibility that among those humble coins there lies one extraordinary. If this fascination moved you, if this possibility stirred your imagination, if you want more mind-blowing coin stories, rare collectibles, unbelievable auctions, hit like, hit subscribe, because the truth is we are only scratching the surface. History is still being uncovered, and once in a chance moment your ordinary penny could become legends and big money too. So stay tuned, because you never know when the next 1 cent, one humble coin, becomes $12 million worth history.